Imagine this. You wake up, but it's not really you. You look in a mirror, and what's staring back is, well, it's a corpse with this massive head wound
A truly gruesome sight.
and dark red blood staining the collar. But here's the thing. You feel violently, fundamentally alive. Today, we are diving deep into that exact moment. The shocking, violent second that Zhu Mingrui, a modern historian, transmigrated into the body of Klein.
And it's this chaotic blend of, three totally impossible things.
Right. You've got a point-blank gunshot wound, some kind of instantaneous, almost magical healing, and a bizarre magical ritual at the center of it all.
It's a perfect storm.
So our mission today is to sift through the clues at this horrific scene. We need to figure out if a simple act of digital folklore, this sort of Chinese Hail Mary luck ritual, could have actually caused this reality-bending event.
And crucially, if that same ritual is the only way back for him.
Exactly.
The sources, they just lay out this intense conflict. You have sudden, shocking violence, a clearly fatal injury, and it's immediately countered by an equally shocking restoration. It really forces you to question what transmigration even is.
It's not just a soul swap.
No, not at all. It's more like a cosmic rescue mission. Did the violence create the opening, the doorway? Or was the healing just, a happy side effect of a soul transfer that was already happening?
That's the core mystery right there.
It is.
Okay, so let's start with the physical trauma. Zhu Mingrui's first discovery is just pure horror. The body he's in, Klein Moretti's body, it looks like a murder victim.
But there's that paradox you mentioned.
The ultimate paradox. Despite the cold skin, the awful wound, he feels his own heart racing. He's got this immense nervous vitality. He is alive in a body that should absolutely be dead.
It's this total juxtaposition. The outside is a crime scene, the inside is pure adrenaline.
But he can't even process the wound properly until he gets a light on. And this is where the sheer poverty of this new world just hits him.
He needs the gas lamp.
And it's not a switch on the wall. We learn through these memory fragments that his older brother, Benson, had to fight just to get it installed years ago.
Right, arguing with the landlord, taking on debt. Also, Klein could study at Cole University.
Yeah.
It grounds this cosmic event in just crushing, mundane reality.
It really does.
And the lamp just sputters. It won't light. So he has to go to the gas meter. And to work the meter, he needs a copper penny.
The basic currency of the Loan Kingdom, right? With King George III on it.
A single dark yellow coin. Just enough to get the gears inside the meter grinding so the gas can flow. It's such a manual process.
You have to pay penny by penny just for a little bit of light. It just anchors this reality-shattering event to the simple daily struggle of Tianjin City.
And once that little fiery plume ignites and the room is finally lit, that immediate existential crisis gives way to a much more practical one.
Cleaning up the crime scene.
Exactly.
And this part is so human. Before he even thinks about who killed Klein, his first thought is, I can't let my little sister Melissa see this.
So he grabs an old towel, a tiny bit of soap, and has to sneak to the communal bathroom.
And this is where we meet the landlord, Mr. Frankie.
Ah, yes, Mr. Frankie.
Yeah.
An incredible character. Zhu Mingrui has to tiptoe because this landlord, this short, thin guy in a top hat, is apparently a tyrant about water usage.
Even though water is included in the rent.
Right. If the tap is too loud, Frankie comes out with his walking stick, shouting about darn thieves and wastage.
It's absurd. You survive a gunshot to the head, and your immediate fear is the landlord getting mad about 3 pence worth of water.
It shows you the intense pressure of the setting. The fear of getting found out, of social ruin, is almost greater in that moment than the terror of what just happened to him.
So he cleans up, he comes back, and the light from the lamp finally reveals the really decisive evidence.
And it is chilling.
First, a ton of dark blood splattered on the floor, right under the desk. And second, a yellow bullet, a little deformed, lodged near the wall.
And putting those two things together confirms the method right away.
A point-blank shot.
Releasing a round with a revolver pointed at the temple. The means of death is clear. And then he finds the weapon itself.
The final piece of the forensic puzzle.
The revolver's cylinder has 5 live rounds and 1 empty cartridge shell. 1 shot was fired.
So the mystery just completely shifts. It's not how Klein died anymore, it's why, and who pulled the trigger.
He inherits this cascade of questions. Where did a poor history graduate even get a gun?
Was it suicide? Or was it made to look like suicide?
What kind of trouble was this kid in?
And you can't forget that note.
That cryptic, haunting note. It's so brief, but it's profound.
Everyone will die, including me.
If Klein wrote it, it feels like a premeditated, almost philosophical goodbye. But now Zumagrui has inherited it.
Does it mean something else now? Is it prophetic? It just hangs over everything.
It really does. But okay, the cleanup confirms the death, but when he examines the wound, that's what confirms the miracle.
And this shifts his focus right away from just surviving to the huge question of why, which brings us to the magical restoration.
Because once the light properly hits the wound, it's astonishing. It's not bleeding anymore. The text says it looks like it received the best hemostasis and bandaging.
Right, hemostasis just meaning the bleeding has stopped. But there were no bandages.
None. The signs of rapid healing are immediate and, frankly, grotesque. He can see the grayish-white brain matter, and it is slowly squirming.
You can actually see the flesh and blood growing back at the edges of the wound.
The timeline for recovery is just. It's unbelievable. The source suggests 30 to 40 minutes, maybe a couple of hours at most, and it would just be a light scar.
That's a catastrophic recovery from a fatal injury. It defies all known biology in that world or ours.
Which leads him to that one critical conclusion.
The restorative effects that transmigration brings.
But let's pause on that. Is that right? I mean, did the transmigration happen because the body was violently opened and the universe sort of rushed in to fix it?
Or was the healing just a side effect of a soul transfer that was already happening for some other reason?
If the violence was the trigger, that's a pretty dark interpretation. It suggests the universe needs a sacrifice, or at least a vacancy, for a soul swap to work.
So Zhu Mingru was basically called in as a cosmic life support system. His arrival triggered the healing.
But the other way,
Yeah.
if the healing was just a side effect, it means whatever caused the transmigration was so powerful, it could just shrug off a point-blank gunshot.
And that actually fits with one of the clues.
The amount of blood?
Exactly. The text notes there was so little blood that the cleanup wasn't that hard.
A shot to the temple should be an absolute horror show. A massive splatter. The fact that it was manageable suggests the sealing of the wound, must have started the instant Zhu Mingrui's consciousness arrived.
It wasn't slow. It was instantaneous. It prevented him from bleeding out.
So there he is, alive, miraculously healed, with a gun, a cryptic note, in a world where he's flat broke.
Hey.
But his biggest motivation isn't fear of the police or poverty.
It's homesickness.
It is total existential homesickness. He thinks about his parents, his friends, the internet, good food. It grounds this whole epic fantasy in something so relatable.
He's not an adventurer. He's just a guy who wants to go home.
And that desperation makes him look for the one thing that was weird in his life right before this happened.
The luck enhancement ritual. The key suspect in this whole cosmic crime.
He remembers it from this strange, obscure book he bought, probably to, look smart online.
The quintessential divination and arcane arts of the Qin and Han dynasty.
Such a great title. And what's wild is how simple the folklore is. It needed no training, no foundation. Anyone could do it.
Walk us through the steps because the details are so important here.
Okay, so you take 4 portions of staple food, place them in the 4 corners of your room.
Under furniture, right?
Then you stand in the middle, and you take 4 counterclockwise steps. You're basically making a square on the floor.
And with each step, you chant.
Yes, a sincere chant of 4 different titles. First, blessings stem from the immortal Lord of heaven and earth.
Then, the Sky Lord.
Then the exalted Thverch. And finally, the celestial worthy of heaven and earth.
After that, you just close your eyes and wait for 5 minutes.
That's it.
It sounds so harmless, like something you'd try for a laugh, maybe for a bit of luck on a test. But that's the profound irony, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
He's a Chinese history grad. He performs a ritual invoking Chinese celestial powers, and he ends up in a steampunk Victorian-era body in the Lowen Kingdom.
The tension there is incredible. Why would ancient Chinese cosmology have this reality-bending power in Tianjin City? It suggests the metaphysical rules of this new world are stranger than they look.
The simplest act, done without any real belief, turned out to be the most powerful thing he'd ever do.
And the timeline is the critical part. He did the ritual before dinner. He specifically remembers that nothing happened back then.
It was a delay timer. The transmigration, the gunshot, that all happened hours later in the middle of the night. It was a ticking magical fuse.
So he puts it all together. The impossible healing, the traumatic transfer, this weird piece of folklore.
And he lands on the only conclusion that makes any sense.
There is a distinct possibility that it's due to that luck enhancement ritual.
The violent death created the opening, the doorway. But the ritual, that forgotten half-joking ritual, that was the key. That was the catalyst.
And the healing power. It's the ultimate irony. A frivolous act of online posturing saves his life and shatters his reality.
But it also gives him his only way forward.
This Hail Mary moment.
Right. He stops flicking the revolver cylinder, he focuses, and he decides he's going to perform that exact same ritual again here in this new world.
If it brought him in, maybe.
Yeah.
Just maybe. It can send him back.
The entire dynamic changes. It wasn't a joke anymore. Now it's the only real functional magic he knows, and it's his only hope of reversing this cosmic catastrophe.
The stakes aren't a little bit of luck anymore. They're about reversing reality itself.
So what does all this mean for you listening to this? We've just mapped out a universe where a nearly forgotten piece of folklore, something you'd try once and forget, has world-shattering, soul-swapping power.
The foundation of his new life is literally built on a fluke of magic.
And our protagonist now has to rely on that same obscure knowledge, not for a bit of good fortune, but with the full, terrified weight of his desire to undo it all.
He's betting everything on the idea that the universe will answer the same call twice.
Exactly. So here's the thought to leave you with. If a simple ritual, performed haphazardly, almost as a joke, could cause such a violent transmigration, what kind of unintended, terrifying forces might be unlocked when he tries it again? This time, fully aware of its terrible power, and with the complete existential desperation of a man trying to reverse his own displacement. That is the unpredictable magic that awaits.